Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes California governor's primetime prominence fuels 2024 speculation. Sweden's Tesla strikes pit Elon Musk against European labor ideals. Can declaring yourself a sovereign citizen get you out of a traffic fine? The Bermuda model, climate resilience born out of necessity. It looks like we've lost control of our ice sheets. California governor's primetime prominence fuels 2024 speculation. Financial Times. California Governor Gavin Newsom, who has been building a national profile and is considered a potential candidate for president in 2028, will participate in a debate against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a Republican candidate for president, moderated by Fox News commentator Sean Hannity. Newsom has been actively campaigning for President Joe Biden and has been described as an effective surrogate for the White House. While Newsom is not expected to run for president in 2024, he has been working to raise his profile and make himself highly visible for a potential run in 2028. Newsom has been traveling to other states, engaging in policy battles with DeSantis, and meeting with world leaders to bolster his credentials. However, his approval ratings in California have declined, and he will face challenges from issues such as the state's high cost of living and chronic homelessness as he seeks to maintain his popularity at home. The debate with DeSantis could help him rally his base and improve his standing in California. Sweden's Tesla strikes pit Elon Musk against European labor ideals. Financial Times. The strike by Swedish workers against Tesla's anti-union stance has spread beyond the carmaker's service centers and is now drawing in other sectors. Workers from dockers to cleaners have taken solidarity action against the EV manufacturer, causing disruption to its operations. Swedish unions are also said to have sought support from counterparts in Europe and the US. The action is being seen as a key test for unions in a country where there is no minimum wage and collective bargaining agreements are used to set pay. The strike also comes as Tesla faces growing unrest among its workforce in its most important markets, including the US and Germany. Can declaring yourself a sovereign citizen get you out of a traffic fine? ABC. Former magistrate and current dean of law at Southern Cross University, David Halpern, has called for websites that promote false legal loopholes to help people avoid traffic fines to be shut down. Halpern described the websites as dangerous and compared the movement to a cult, saying that it sucks people in and provides them with false information. He also highlighted the potential dangers of the movement, citing instances where sovereign citizens have been involved in confrontations with police, resulting in deaths. Halpern's comments come after a New South Wales magistrate reported an increase in cases involving sovereign citizen arguments since the start of the pandemic. The Bermuda model, climate resilience born out of necessity. Financial Times. The Bermuda roof, designed to capture and store rainwater, could be a solution to the water scarcity faced by small, island nations. Bermuda's water security is threatened by climate change, with drought and rising sea levels putting its freshwater systems at risk. The distinctive stepped roof design features an aquifer to collect rainwater, which is stored in large underground cisterns. The water is then recycled back up for use. Other small islands in the Caribbean facing water insecurity from climate change could adopt the Bermuda roof design as a method of water harvesting. However, cultural and cost challenges could limit the adoption of the design. In Bermuda, the average cost of the roofs is about $27 per square foot, while the cost is more like $10 to $12 per sq feet in the Caribbean for alternatives such as asphalt shingles. It looks like we've lost control of our ice sheets. Financial Times. Ocean warming is accelerating, with average water temperatures rising almost twice as fast between 2010 and 2020 as during the 1990s, according to scientists from the University of New South Wales Centre for Marine Science and Innovation. The Southern Ocean around Antarctica absorbs the most heat, with almost as much being absorbed as by the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans combined. The melting of Antarctic ice is one of the most intensively researched consequences of ocean warming, with the West Antarctic ice sheet melting at an accelerated rate due to warming of the Southern Ocean. High Seas Treaty is a critical step in protection of the oceans. Financial Times. Countries and financiers are making efforts to protect vulnerable parts of the deep sea following the adoption of the UN High Seas Treaty in June. The treaty covers the two-thirds of the world's waters that are not within national jurisdictions. Although there are more than a dozen international organizations that regulate the oceans, none has comprehensive oversight of the deep seas, which have been considered global commons. Environmentalists welcome the treaty as a step towards protecting biodiversity by controlling human activity in unregulated areas. The upside-down world of North Korean elections. Financial Times. North Korea held local elections on Sunday in which only one candidate was allowed to stand in each district. While the results were predetermined, the process serves as an important ritual that binds the people to the regime. The elections are used for propaganda purposes, and the regime uses them as a pretext to restrict internal movement and track citizens who have left their local area without permission. The election process is undergoing changes, with some candidates now being selected through a primary-like process. The regime has also acknowledged that a few people have voted against candidates in rare instances. The world is battling a wave of hate crime unleashed by Israel-Hamas war. Bloomberg. Hate crimes targeting Jews, Muslims, and Arabs have surged worldwide since the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas, according to advocacy groups, analysts, and former law enforcement officials. Attacks have taken place in the US, Germany, Canada, and other countries, and include vandalism, assaults, threats, and acts of intimidation. The wave of hate has been amplified by social media platforms and exploited by far-right extremists. The virulence of the attacks and the level of hatred expressed is unprecedented, with many communities experiencing a heightened sense of vulnerability and insecurity. This violence poses significant challenges to liberal democracies, including how to protect free speech and the right to protest while combating hate speech, and how to prevent tensions from driving permanent wedges between communities. Governments also face the risk of unrestrained and brutal violence. The exact scale of the hate crime wave is difficult to measure, and vulnerable groups often don't report abuse, making it hard to document each incident. However, the surge in hate crimes is clear, and the divisions between communities are becoming more pronounced. Henry Kissinger, Nobel Prize-winning warmonger, has died at age 100. Al Jazeera. Henry Kissinger, the former U.S. Secretary of State, has died at the age of 100. Kissinger is known for his role in shaping U.S. foreign policy during the Cold War era. He served as Secretary of State under Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford and is widely credited with opening up diplomatic relations between the U.S. and China and negotiating landmark arms deals with the Soviet Union. However, Kissinger's controversial legacy also includes supporting anti-communist dictatorships in Latin America and his role in the Vietnam War, including the secret bombing of Laos and Cambodia. Kissinger was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1973 for his role in negotiating a ceasefire in Vietnam, but his support for authoritarian regimes and the resulting human rights abuses have long been criticized. In recent years, Kissinger has remained active in public life, co-authoring a book on artificial intelligence and advising on international conflicts. Study says the U.S. is ill-prepared to ensure housing for the growing number of older people. Associated Press. The U.S. is unprepared to house and provide for its growing elderly population, according to a report from Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing Studies. The report says that federal housing assistance in 2021 was only sufficient for 37% of the 5.9 million renters aged over 62 who were eligible. The U.S. population over 75 is set to rise 45% over the next decade, but the report revealed that in 2021, 11.2 million older adults were cost-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income on housing. Jefferson has 16, Rickards 15 as number 22. Louisville women top number 19 Ole Miss 64-58. Associated Press. Number 22 Louisville held off number 19 Mississippi 64-58 in the ACC/SEC Challenge on Wednesday night. The Cardinals led 57-52 after Sidney Taylor drained a three-pointer with 6 minutes to play, but they didn't hit another field goal. Louisville only made 7 of 10 free throws, but the Rebels made just 2 of 6 from the field and 2 of 9 from the foul line. Henry Kissinger, influential diplomat, dies at 100. Wall Street Journal. Henry Kissinger, the former U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, has died at the age of 100. Born in Germany in 1923, Kissinger fled to the U.S. from the Nazis in 1938. He served during the Nixon and Ford administrations from 1969 to 1977, and played a crucial role in U.S. foreign policy during that time. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1973 for his efforts to end the Vietnam War. However, Kissinger also drew criticism for his foreign policy decisions, including supporting military coups in Chile and Argentina, and overseeing the secret bombings of Cambodia and Laos during the Vietnam War. Britain's genetic databank to unveil largest ever sequencing release. Financial Times. Data from the UK Biobank, which stores information from 500,000 individuals, is to be published to help researchers develop drugs to treat conditions including cancer and heart conditions. The project, funded with £200 million, $268 million, from 4 pharmaceutical companies, the Wellcome Trust and the UK government, combined genetic information with health, lifestyle, and aging data. The release of the information, the largest ever of its kind, will allow groundbreaking discoveries to be made, said Cheryl Moore, Chief Research Programs Officer at the Wellcome Trust. Bryce James, LeBron James' youngest son, makes junior season debut as Sierra Canyon remains undefeated. Yahoo! Bryce James, the younger brother of NBA superstar LeBron James, has returned to his high school basketball team, Sierra Canyon High School, after 2 transfers. The 6'4" guard played 15 minutes and scored 6 points in Wednesday's game against Moorpark High School. James initially transferred to Campbell Hall High School, then Notre Dame High School, before returning to Sierra Canyon due to the California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, Southern Section deeming him ineligible for transferring within Sierra Canyon's conference. James' older brother Bronny has played all 4 years at Sierra Canyon. Hey there, it's your favorite observer from the 6th dimension. It's me, Dr. Six, back with another round of news updates from across the globe. Let's dive right in. First up, we have California Governor Gavin Newsom making waves with his primetime prominence. While he's not expected to run for president in 2024, he's certainly raising his profile for a potential run in 2028. His upcoming debate against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is sure to be a spectacle, and it could help him rally his base and improve his standing in California. It's a high-stakes game, but Newsom seems up for the challenge. Next, we have the ongoing strike by Swedish workers against Tesla. This is not just about the carmaker's anti-union stance, but it's spreading across different sectors and causing disruption to Tesla's operations. It's a test for unions in a country where collective bargaining agreements are used to set pay. And Tesla is facing unrest among its workforce in other important markets as well. Looks like Elon Musk has a battle on his hands. Moving on, we have the bizarre world of sovereign citizens trying to get out of traffic fines. These websites promoting false legal loopholes are causing quite a stir, and former magistrate David Halpern is calling for them to be shut down. It's like a cult that sucks people in with false information. But it's not just about avoiding fines, there have been instances where sovereign citizens have been involved in confrontations with police, resulting in deaths. It's a dangerous movement that needs to be addressed. Now, let's talk about a unique solution to water scarcity faced by small island nations, the Bermuda roof. This innovative design captures and stores rainwater, helping to combat drought and rising sea levels. It could be a game changer for other islands facing similar challenges. However, cost and cultural barriers might limit its adoption. But hey, it's always good to think outside the box, or in this case, outside the roof. Speaking of water, it looks like we're losing control of our ice sheets. Ocean warming is accelerating, and the melting of the Antarctic ice is a cause for concern. The Southern Ocean around Antarctica is absorbing a massive amount of heat, putting the West Antarctic ice sheet at risk. It's a chilling reminder of the consequences of climate change. We better start taking some serious action, or things could get icy real quick. Now, let's dive into the deep sea with the UN High Seas Treaty. This is a critical step in protecting the oceans, especially the 2/3 that are not within national jurisdictions. It's about time we had comprehensive oversight of the deep seas, which have been considered global commons. This treaty is a step towards protecting biodiversity and controlling human activity in unregulated areas. Let's give the deep sea a high five. Moving on to North Korea, we have their upside-down elections. It's all about propaganda and control for the regime. While the results are predetermined, the elections serve as an important ritual to bind the people to the regime. But hey, they're making some changes. Now some candidates are being selected through a primary-like process. Baby steps, I guess? Now, let's talk about the wave of hate crimes unleashed by the Israel-Hamas war. It's a disturbing trend that is targeting Jews, Muslims, and Arabs worldwide. These hate crimes have surged, fueled by social media and exploited by far-right extremists. The level of hatred expressed is unprecedented, and it's causing divisions between communities. Liberal democracies are facing significant challenges in protecting free speech and preventing tensions from driving permanent wedges between communities. We need to find a way to combat hate speech while protecting our fundamental rights. In sad news, we bid farewell to Henry Kissinger, the influential diplomat who passed away at the age of 100. Kissinger played a crucial role in shaping U.S. foreign policy during the Cold War era. While he achieved some notable accomplishments, such as opening up diplomatic relations with China, his legacy is marred by controversial decisions, including supporting authoritarian regimes and overseeing bombings during the Vietnam War. His passing marks the end of an era, but his impact will be remembered. Now, let's shift gears and talk about housing for the elderly in the U.S. According to a report, the country is ill-prepared to meet the housing needs of its growing elderly population. Federal housing assistance is falling short, leaving many older adults cost-burdened and spending more than 30% of their income on housing. With the population over 75 set to rise, it's time to address this issue and ensure that our seniors have the support they need. On a lighter note, we have some sports updates. Bryce James, the younger brother of LeBron James, has made his junior season debut in high school basketball. He's back at Sierra Canyon High School after a couple of transfers, and he's making an impact on the court. Looks like basketball talent runs in the family. And finally, we have the release of data from the UK Biobank, which will help researchers develop drugs to treat various conditions. This is the largest ever release of genetic information combined with health data, and it's a big step forward in medical research. Groundbreaking discoveries are on the horizon, and we're excited to see what the future holds. That's all the news I have for you today, folks. Remember, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those questions coming. What are your thoughts on these stories? Let's hear it. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.